When you're in your 20s, starting a new job, paying your bills by yourself, and earning your own money, it feels like you can run the world. But guess what? It's also very easy to make money mistakes that will haunt you for the rest of your life. It's super easy to fall into these traps since personal finance is not a subject taught at schools. And because of this lack of basic financial education, many people in their 20s become clueless about their money. So before you ruin your financial freedom in the future, check out these 7 money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. You never know, your future self might thank you for watching this video. Let's jump in. Money mistake number 1: spending too much on cars. After studying for years, relying on your allowance from your parents, and then finally getting your first decent paying job, now it's time to buy a new car or upgrade your old vehicle. Imagine all the likes and comments you'll get once you post pictures of your new car on Facebook and Instagram. Well, wrong. Although we get that a car is a status symbol for most people in their 20s, this could be the worst money mistake that will haunt you for years. Why? Because cars are depreciating assets, and new cars depreciate a lot faster. In simpler terms, they lose their value over time. In fact, an average new car can depreciate as much as 20% in its first year, and an additional 15% each year after 4 more years. Still confused? Here's a better picture. Let's say you got a new car for about $27,520. After 3 years, you thought of selling your car because you need cash. By then, your not-so-new car would now be worth about $17,200. Imagine almost half of what you paid for. But if you identify with the rest of us who don't belong from families with generational wealth, then spending too much on cars would undoubtedly cause you unnecessary financial strain. Money mistake number 2: credit card debt. Do you know a surefire way to end up in a spiraling and increasing debt? Living off your debts. Getting what you want, even though you don't have the cash to pay for it, will get you into serious credit debt, especially if you don't know how to manage your finances well. People who use their credit cards to purchase things and then don't pay off their balance every month often pay 50% more on top of what they actually owe. For young adults who are just starting to build their life independently, debts are stumbling blocks on one's path to building wealth. So if your goal is directed towards wealth, then think again before getting your first credit card. But if you think you really need it in your life, or you already have one, here are some tips to avoid credit card debt in your 20s. Always pay on time and settle your full balance every month. Because once you miss a payment, your next payment due will be much higher since you'll have to pay 2 charges and late fees. Avoid cash advances on your credit card, even in moments of desperation. This is one of the most expensive credit card transactions with a higher transaction fee, higher interest rate, and no grace period. So as long as you can, avoid it at all costs. Don't lend your credit card. Your office mate might ask you to buy something off of your credit card, but don't do it. No matter how much trust you have with your friend or office mate, you're still ultimately responsible for all the credits made in your account, and your credit card issuer will hold you accountable no matter what. Read and understand every single sentence on your credit card terms. As boring as it may sound to you, understanding all the features laid out on your credit card terms can help you avoid credit card debt since you know what you should or shouldn't do. Limit your credit card numbers. To avoid getting into more debt than you can handle, stick to only 1 or 2 credit cards because the more credit cards you have, the greater opportunity to get into massive debt. Money mistake number 3: living in the now. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with living your life to the fullest. However, when you are still in your 20s, it's easy to get caught up with living in the moment and not thinking about your financial future. In reality, your 20s should be the time to work hard, to earn the life you want, rather than live a life you can't afford that you will have to pay for later. Many millennials make the mistake of overspending in the present. be it on expensive vacations, designer clothes, expensive restaurants, or the latest gadgets. All thanks to Instagram and social media culture, our generation has become a battle of showing off. When you are always trying to keep up with your friends and comparing yourself to others, this would inevitably lead to overspending, bad financial decisions, and stress. Remember that just because someone appears to be rich in social media doesn't mean they are. Most often than not, they probably have made serious money mistakes trying to maintain their online image. Now, the idea is not to live like a monk. If you actually have spare money to spend on things you think you deserve, then go and reward yourself. But the idea here is to spend less than what you earn. Money mistake number 4. Marrying before you are financially ready and then going into debt for your wedding. Just because you're so in love and you and your partner are willing to tie the knot despite your lack of financial stability, it doesn't always mean that you should. Before you get married, it's wise to sit down and discuss your financial plans together. Granted that money can be an awkward topic to talk about, doing this would help you figure out if your partner is on the same page with you financially. After all, marriage is not just about being madly in love with one another. It is more than an emotional commitment. Instead, it is also a shared financial responsibility and a legal commitment. So before you say your "I do," make sure that you'll have peace of mind in the course of your marriage, as no ugly financial surprises are lying in wait for you. Let's say you've already discussed your financial situation, plans, and goals with your partner, and now you're 100% ready to tie the knot. Awesome! It's going to be your big day. But remember, it's just one day. One of the major money mistakes that you could ever make is going into a chunk of debt for a huge wedding. 10 years from now, you won't care whether you had an expensive menu at your wedding or not. You will care that you've got a home, car, or anything valuable that you've decided to spend your money on instead of a one-day event. Money mistake number 5. Not having an emergency fund. Accidents and emergencies don't announce themselves, so not having an emergency fund will be one of the worst money mistakes you could ever make in your 20s. When you are young, you're so focused on getting a decent job and having a good time that you tend to overlook the need for having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a stash of money set aside to cover for the financial surprises that life could throw away. It is typically composed of 3 to 6 months' worth of your living expenses. And even if you don't have a mortgage or children to tend to right now, you still need a budget for emergencies. Car repairs, medical emergencies, sudden job loss, and other unplanned expenses related to living in your apartment are some of the common examples of emergencies when you're in your 20s. Similarly, the year 2020 became a wake-up call for most people that unexpected things can happen at any time. Many lost their jobs, had a huge loss on their businesses, or even faced health crisis. In times like these, having a safety net that you know you can run to is very important. Emergency funds will safeguard you and protect you from paying insane interest if you would rather loan just to cover the emergencies in your life. But among many other things, the peace of mind from knowing that you have funds for rainy days is priceless. Money mistake number 6. Fear of investing. Since you are young, you can still afford to lose money now and still recover. Bear in mind that while you are in your 20s, you have all the time to learn, unlearn, and relearn everything about money. On the contrary, when you're in your 40s and with kids and a spouse who depends on you, it's harder to take these risks because of all the responsibilities. So instead of having a fear of investing, start learning how to invest and start as early as possible. There's no better way of building wealth than starting early because almost all investments require significant time to grow. Even in your average income while you're in your 20s, there are various investment plans that you can choose from. Among these things are index funds, retirement plan contributions, inexpensive home, real estate investment trusts, rental assets, small businesses, continued education and skill-centered courses. Out of all these, our favorite is the latter. Your mind and skills will always be the best asset you could ever have because the more you learn, the more you increase your earning potential. Money mistake number 7. Not taking advantage of your free time to earn extra money. Thinking that you don't have time is not an excuse. Come to think of this, you'll never have more time and energy than you do right now in your 20s. The time you have right now is such a precious resource that you might take for granted. So if your goal is to build financial wealth in the future, stop binge watching series after series and playing video games for hours, because not taking advantage of your free time to earn extra income is one of the money mistakes you could make in your 20s. There are tons of different ways to try so you could earn extra money after your 9-to-5 job, including working as a freelancer, starting a dropshipping business, become an affiliate marketer, launching a print-on-demand store, starting a blog, writing ebooks and sell them online, become an Instagram influencer, offering virtual assistant services. If you want to make extra money during your spare time, there's no shortage of side hustles to explore. The challenge here is to find one that you would actually commit to. That's it. To sum it up again, here are the 7 money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. Money mistake number 1. Spending too much on cars. Money mistake number 2. Credit card debt. Money mistake number 3. Living in the now. Money mistake number 4. Marrying before you are financially ready and then going into debt for your wedding. Money mistake number 5. Not having an emergency fund. Money mistake number 6. Fear of investing. And then money mistake number 7. Not taking advantage of your free time to earn extra money. We've all made our fair share of money mistakes, but the good thing about being in your 20s is that you still have a lot of time to fix them. Did you find this list of money mistakes helpful? Then help someone today by sharing this video with your friends.